All
Being
right,
with
and we're live, guys. Okay, welcome back to the MUSA debates. Today we're having our final session, which is for the MUISS heads. Before I get into the candidates and everything, I'd just like to give a very brief overview. But before that as well, I would like to apologize for all of the technical difficulties we've been having lately. A lot of us have had really shaky Wi-Fi. So I would also like to apologize in advance if we have any Wi-Fi issues in this session right now. So I'm just going to go through the itinerary right now. So 2 minutes intro, which is what I'm doing right now, and we'll be moving into the opening statement from the candidates, who, if you guys don't know, is Ali and Nida. Following that, we'll be going into a Q&A from the office bearers. So previous MUIS heads will be grilling, interrogating, questioning, however you guys want to see it. And after that, we'll be having a open Q&A from the students. So all of the viewers watching, please feel free to drop your criticisms and your comments on their manifesto, of course. And finally, we'll have a closing statement. So without further ado, for our final debate of the day, I would like to introduce Alisha and Nida. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, Tristan, for that nice introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alisha Afzal,
And I'm Nidar Mehboob.
and we are running for Heads of Monash University International Student Service for year 2021. Before we start, let us give you a background about us and the motivation which resides within us for this position.
So, for me, my motivation would be my first hand experience as an international student in Monash. It gives me all the reason to run for this position. The barriers and struggles, no offense to local students, of being an international student is pretty evident if you look closely at their lives. I want to make sure that they get all the help that they need and are able to have fun and make the most of the uni experience as a student in Monash University. I want them to look back and have no regrets. I want them to learn valuable lessons and have stories to tell. I want them to help each other grow in this safe environment. Over the course of my time in Monash, I had the opportunity to get involved in helping students by being a subcom member in MUISS. I was under the welfare department for the year 2020, where we overcame the most unpredictable hurdle, which included completely going online. With the help of the team, I was able to learn how to make the best of the situation and work with what I've got. I've learned a lot about the university and the student experience by getting more and more involved. With just 3 years I've got in Monash, I want to contribute as much as I can to make a difference. Along the way, I feel that I've grown as a person, and I cannot wait to learn and work with all of you in the different ways we can help the student body.
I joined MUIS in 2019 as a subcommittee member under MUIS ISO activities. It was an experience where I learned from organizing on-campus events to managing the budgets as well as planning the events. This year, I was appointed as the Pakistan country representative, where my job was to look after the community and the welfare and well-being of Pakistani students in Monash. These experiences have enabled me to cope up with on-campus and online working and event organizing environments, making sure that the welfare of students is being kept on first priority. Being a part of subcommittee and country representative of Pakistan, it has acquired me with subsequent skill set to lead as the MUIS head and give back to the international community. As being an international student, I see there are several issues which we will discuss later in our speech that are important to look upon, and I want to commit myself to address those issues and continue the legacy of MUIS and take it to greater heights. With our collective experience, we believe that we are the best candidates for MUIS head. We will be able to lead the team efficiently and keep on track with guiding principles of MUIS. We believe that we have understanding and skill set as well as quality experience to work together as MUIS heads and can lead the team efficiently.
Now, our main purpose as MUIS heads is to be the official spokesperson of MUIS and advocate for the rights of the international students. We believe that we can bridge this gap between Monash's academic and admin staff and the international students. Our aim is to work in the best interest of MUIS collectively. We want to ensure that the team is going in the right direction and progressing harmoniously and taking responsibility to solve the conflicts within the team.
So now we would like to discuss some issues and the solutions we have planned. So first is transparency. As part of ACM Party, our mission is to be as transparent as possible and incorporate this principle while trying to achieve our goal. We realize that the end game for institution and organization where many rely is trust and credibility. As heads, we would like to be more open, candid, and transparent in responding to student criticism and addressing internal controversies. Moreover, there are instances where students feel that not much has been done, or they don't really know where the budget is going for MUISS, and we need to make sure that MUISS is taking all the initiatives they can to work towards the welfare and well-being of students. We will also work towards being more transparent about our assets and budget allocation. So, the solution we came up is having anonymous feedback forms where they can express their criticism and ways to improve MUISS. We as a team will make sure that nothing is overlooked and every feedback given by students is given appropriate attention. We will also generate monthly reports of MUISS progress so that the students can keep themselves updated with the initiatives taken by international community. We hope that this will encourage them to participate for future engagement events, and we can also tackle the issue of engagement by this. Another challenge is approachability. When new international students come to Monash, they face difficulty in blending in with the diverse environment and coping up with university life. They feel several challenges such as homesickness, loneliness, finding new friends. As the international student representatives, we want to make sure that MUISS team is open, friendly, and approachable to all the international students. We believe that it is important to construct a relationship where international students can rely on us and speak to us about the university life concerns, which are hindering their mental and physical health and their academic performance. So a solution to this challenge to approachability is that we will introduce initiatives which can involve close interaction of students with the MUISS team. An example of it can be Tea with MUISS, where international students can have a cup of tea with the MUISS team and can share their issues and concerns regarding university life. And we, as experienced team, can give them back our experiences and help them tackle those issues. Also, we believe that initiatives such as Chill with MUISS from 2019 can be adapted and can be developed upon to make into more interactive and purposeful events.
Now, another issue which is not foreign to us is discrimination. Being public and purposeful about being inclusive is very imperative to us. We find ways to let everyone in the international student community know that the university is a safe place, that all are welcome, and that biased words and actions are unacceptable. Our vision is for everyone to perceive MUISS as a place where culture diversity meets and boundaries dissolve. MUISS is a sanctuary where differences are appreciated. MUISS is a safe place where there's constant learning, appreciation, and celebration of these differences through integration of all cultures and backgrounds. There's room for no judgment, no discrimination, and no prejudice. We aim to deal with this by educating the community through seminars and enforcing strict policies against any forms of discrimination, as well as inclusivity nights where the students can mingle, share their experiences and their cultural backgrounds among students from different identities. From my personal experience, another issue that I've faced is regarding publicity of MUISS. When I first came to Monash, I had missed the first few days of orientation, so I had not met any student organizations and had no clue as to where to approach and who to approach. So naturally, my first instinct was to look up Monash University Malaysia on Instagram, but they had no links to the MUISS page, and I had no idea MUISS existed, to be honest. So I felt that without the buddy programs and physical orientations, this year's online intake students face the same problem as well. And since we cannot blast email the students, and since it's harder to find at muiss.sunway, it is important to bridge this gap. We would like to work closely with the Monash admin staff to include and publicize MUISS as much as possible on the official Monash Malaysia page. And linking MUISS Sunway page as an important student association will help the majority of the international students as well as increase our outreach. We will also request Monash admins to collaborate and publish our details in the emails they send to the international students so that they can easily contact us about their queries and queries related to international students.
So, concluding our speech, we want to point out this that we believe that alongside addressing all these issues, it is important for us as heads of MUISS to make sure that our team is on track and they are keeping up with the responsibilities. We would like to introduce a check and balance system within our team where we can use help from online applications such as Notion, Monday.com, and keep the track of the upcoming events. This way, every member of MUISS committee, from the executive members to the CRs and the subcommittee members, can ensure regularity, efficiency according to the task they are given. As heads, it is important to make sure that all the members of MUISS are actively participating and they have no issues within the team. So that would be all from us.
Any questions?
And we would encourage you to ask us questions.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, guys. Actually, a really good speech. I wish I could ask questions, but that's not my job to do. In fact, it's the job of the current office bearers who will be introducing right now. So welcome, Jess and Avril, to the stream. Ask away whenever you guys are ready.
Hi, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Hello. Yeah. I think I'm a little bit lagging. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear
you.
We can.
Okay, cool. So, Avril, you want to go?
Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna start first. So my first question would be: so you guys are running as heads of MUISS 2021, and as heads, what do you think are your most important responsibilities?
Okay, so as heads, according to the Constitution, the main responsibility is to be the spokesperson for the international community and make sure the team is working properly and make sure that everyone is following the responsibilities and take care of the welfare of the international students. So we believe that as a team, we would take care of that efficiently and we would come up with events which also cater to these needs of international students.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to ask a follow-up question to that one, to your answer. So can you give us an example of the event that you have come up with for this year?
Okay, so we have this event. So what we've like we said in our speech is called Tea with MUISS, where anyone can approach us, enter our office, have a tea with us, have a talk with us, and like inquire about anything at all. And yeah, that's one of the initiatives that we're planning to do next year.
And also we realize that there are other platforms where students go to express their criticisms about anything, and we want to make sure that we ourselves are able enough to provide them anonymous platforms, feedback forms, or just a pass-by feedback drop box where they can do that anonymously, and we will make sure that their needs and their concerns are being catered and they are being listened to and paid appropriate attention to.
All right, cool. So I'm going to move ahead to the question that I was going to ask. So a very general one. So in case Monash is not fully open yet, how do you plan on conducting events, both virtual and off campus? Because there's a chance that next semester may be online. So how do you plan to juggle that?
Okay, so since both of us have experience being subcommittee members during this online time, I feel like we have enough experience to make sure that we're able to do well next year, as well as we will be trying to improve the publicity issue so that we can increase the participation rate next year. So yeah, that's what we have in mind.
And another thing just to add on, Nita, is that publicity means that telling students what we are, what we stand for, and when they can come to us and whatever problem they have, they can rely on us. So these are the issues which are the root problem of why we have less engagement. And once we deliver our message to the students and what they expect from us, it is easier to get engagement, whether it be online or on campus events.
Okay, I know like the next question is supposed to be Avril's delivery, but I have a follow-up question to what you said earlier. So I'd just like to clarify that yes, it's good to want to boost participation and all that, but that is obviously what all departments are trying to do when they're during election season. That's what all departments want to say, oh, we want to increase participation and all that. That's what we wanted to do as well when we were getting elected. But how exactly do you plan to do that? Because we do have our information online, we do have people watching, but it is not easy to increase participation. So any suggestions on like what you guys are gonna do that differentiates yourself from 2020 that will increase participation?
So, first thing is I know that the events are online, everything is being posted on MUISS platforms, but the thing is, not enough of them know about MUISS. So, first we want to like bridge that gap by publicizing MUISS using with the help of Monash admins. So, like I said, I wanted to first fix the publicity issue by closely contacting with the Monash admins in Student Life to publicize MUISS on the official Monash Malaysia University page.
Yeah, and adding on to that, what we can do, what we are planning to do is that we'll request Monash admissions that when the new students come up, they get emails from Monash admissions, and in that they can brief more about MOS and what how we can help the international upcoming students. So it's easier for them to contact us and easier for them to rely on us when they come here. Yeah.
All right. So, Justin, do you have any more follow-up questions or? Okay. So, I'm gonna move on to my questions. So, as you guys know, most of the international students here in Monash University are not in Malaysia, so most of them are back in their home country. And how do you cater to all the students who are spread across the world right now, like Malaysia and outside of Malaysia?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? You were cutting off.
Okay, sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So sorry, guys. So, how do you guys want to cater to all the students who are in Malaysia and outside of Malaysia?
You mean that when it's on campus or the online platform?
Because as of now, we're not sure what's going to happen next year, next semester, right? So our best guess is that we're going to have both like online and offline classes. But so how are you guys gonna cater to all the international students, whether they are in Malaysia or outside of Malaysia?
Yeah. So, according to what you said, what I understood is that there's going to be like what you meant is when there's like on campus and online classes, right?
Yeah. I think she said that. So like
Yeah.
basically, what would you do if you have a mixture of both virtual and on-campus semester? What would you do?
Okay, so then what I would assume is that the working time for a day would be according to how the timetables are set by Monash University. So if everyone is supposed to follow a certain timetable by Monash, then that would be the timetable that we're following. So our events would be closer to the timings. Like if there are classes from like Malaysian time 12 p.m. to 3, then our events would be closer to an evening that is close to that timing.
And also continuing that, what we can do is that when we are, for example, an on-campus event is going on, So the best way to involve the online people is that to have a YouTube live session, or probably platforms where they can be a part of those on-campus events. And apart from that, we can have several on-campus as well as online events differentiated for both of the group of people, so everyone is being catered to at the same time. Yeah.
All
All
right,
right, cool,
cool.
cool.
Any
Jasmine?
follow-ups? I got none.
No, I have no clue.
Okay, so I'll move
Go
on
ahead.
to my next question. This one is important, so I hope that you guys answer this honestly. Um, so, as candidates for heads, you surely did not have a full team member prior to this. So, I would like to ask how you definitely had a large part in selecting your team members as well. So, I'd like to ask if there were any particular process or even an interview that you went through in selecting your members to ensure that they actually fit the job description.
We believe that, like while selecting the committee, and even when we were being a part of ACM, it is important that everyone is aligned to the goals and aligned to the vision of ACM, because we all are aiming to achieve one thing, which is being making an inclusive society where Monash can, I mean, we as student representatives can hear out to students. So while being a part of ACM, yes, we did ask people, or ask the candidates who wanted to run for the particular position in MUISS, that was it the motivation, and what was the main thing which was driving them towards this position, and what they want to do in the future. And also, we as well as heads were interviewed by the ACM parties, just to know that we align towards the same goal and the same objective as one party. And I feel that it's very important, because all of the people in the committee and the party as well should have the same goals and the same visions and the same motivation to achieve those visions. And that was the reason why we just asked the candidates that what is the main driving force, and how will they like contribute towards the position. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, I can be very honest with you, that was a pretty standard answer. But okay, so I guess one of the candidates that were running for one of the MUISS members earlier was pretty unsatisfactory. We can be very honest with you for that. So this is just a side note, perhaps not a question, but perhaps later on, have a talk with that person and to make sure that they actually will be able to do their job right. Because right now your situation is that you are uncontested. So the audience don't really have anyone else to choose. So you make sure that you actually do your job right. So like that's just a side note anyway. So we can move on to the next question.
All right. So next question: do you guys have any new initiatives that are not passed down by MUIS 2020 or your predecessors?
Okay, so we came up with 4 initiatives which were like new, and yeah, and telling the like helping us to achieve the purpose of what we mentioned in the speech. So one is tea with MUISS, where students can come to us, talk to us about their problems, and have snacks and have tea, and then they can feel more. This way, they'll feel more inviting towards it and more friendly, as tea is a very normal thing, like having a tea with a friend. So this is one of the initiatives where we will listen to them and listen to their problems and help them genuinely, that what can they do to solve those problems. Another is that keeping track of the team, and for that me for that we and activities candidate has already been planning towards it, and it's called the app Notion or Monday.com, where the team members can post their tasks, and they can update that if it's in progress or if it's completed and whatever is going on in their particular task. And it's not just the executive committee, but the CRs as well, and as well as the subcommittee members. So we all know that everyone is on the right track and efficiently contributing towards the team and the student welfare.
Also, we have another initiative that we're planning on. It's like a carnival where we would like to take up probably Monash as a venue and set up the stalls with games and, basically how a carnival is. But instead of portraying more of arts like dance and music of countries, we would be portraying the games played, the national games of each country. So there will be a more cultural aspect to it.
And in that way, we will achieve two goals, which is number one can be that we can include several cultures from, and like country reps next year can bring up their ideas and their identities and put forward, and students from around Monash can come and get to know their cultures. And the second aim can be that it will also give a boost to university life, and it will be a fun-filled event. So students will also look up to it, and the engagement will also be there. Yeah.
All right, cool. Jocelyn?
Okay, cool. One more thing. This is also a pretty important question. So, as you know, like the position of a head, you're essentially the bridge between the MUISS committee as well as other external parties such as the MUSA committee, as well as admins or maybe other parties that you would be involved with. So, how do you intend to reconcile the demands of your members with the restriction from external parties? So, as in, like, your committee members would certainly have their own ideas. They would want to hold this event, but sometimes you have restrictions from MUSA itself, from the budget, from admins. So how do you plan to reconcile both of those to make sure all parties are happy?
Addressing to that question, we feel like, of course, it is important as a team, because ACM as a party, our goal is that our slogan is round table, so everyone's opinion is mattered. And so we want that each and every committee member puts their ideas forward and put their thoughts forward, and then we can literally analyze it, the pros and cons, and actually be reasonable about which ideas are the most effective and help us efficiently to achieve the goal of MUISS, which is to take care of the welfare and well-being of international students. I know there will be hurdles such as budget, such as other like timing hurdle or other management hurdles, but we have to make sure that every event idea is being thoroughly processed, and it's being put forward, which is for the best interests of the international community.
Okay, so Justin, do you have any more follow-up questions, or can I? All right, cool. All right, so I have a question for you guys. So, as we understand, several of your members are your close friends. In case of internal conflict, how do you plan on tackling it fairly, since there is a very high chance of you damaging your personal relationships?
Okay, so first of all, when we get into office, if we get into office, hopefully, we will be setting ground rules, which we will be strictly following. And also, every matter will be dealt with professionally. And if there are any conflicts, then we will make sure that we resolve the matter diplomatically.
And adding on to that, it is also really important that when we get elected, all of us, and when we have the first meeting, we make sure that every one of them knows their criteria and their requirements, and also they know the ground rules which we will be setting up for the first meeting. And we believe that yes, we have personal connections with different people, but it is also important to understand the importance of this role and the seriousness of being heads of MUISS. And it is a great responsibility, and we will make sure that professionalism is kept first before any personal obligations. Yeah.
Okay. So I think
Do we have time for
Jocelyn?
one more question?
Yeah. Do we have time?
We have about a minute and a half, so yeah.
Jocelyn, go
Okay,
ahead.
so very, very short. So like this is a standard question. So as heads, as an office bearer, you're pretty much a public, not exactly a public figure, but you will be known throughout Monash. Like your name will be up there. So your life, your personal life will probably um will be out there. So how how people perceive you will also how people will perceive MUISS. So how important do you think public image is, and how do you plan on regulating it within the team?
So, to us, public image is really, really important because when we are office bearers, we're basically role models for what many people are looking up to us. So, also, we have to abide according to the Constitution. We're supposed to basically make sure that anything that we do does not defy what we stand for.
And also adding on to that, as being office bearers, it is part of us to make sure that we don't connect our personal lives with it. And how we can do it is probably, every step we take, we have to have a check and balance on it. That like it's if it's us or if it's anyone from the committee, will make sure that they don't involve their personal life in the professionalism of MUISS, and we can have a proper check and balance of that, and we can talk within the committee we can talk within the committee and come up with ways which can help us to achieve that goal of targeting towards professionalism, and making ourselves able enough so people can look up to us. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All
So
right. I think that's it for us.
All right. So you guys don't have any more questions, yeah? Okay. So we'll be moving into the open Q&A session, but I just want to address something first that's kind of making me a little bit, I guess uncomfortable. The right word here is that we being me and some of the election team members have kind of felt the need to delete some questions, not because those questions didn't ask relevant points. It's just that a lot of you guys in the comment section right now obviously don't have the ability to ask questions in a very non inflammatory way, or like basically I don't see any sense of diplomacy, and I can also see some people in this chat asking stupid questions about Messi and stuff like that. Like, come on, guys, can we like can we just get our act together and ask proper questions without feeling the need to flame the current office bearers or the potential candidates? Like, can we just keep it civil? And in that case, then we won't block you. Like, it's really just that simple. Rephrasing your questions is a really, really easy thing to do without making it seem offensive to anyone. So yeah. On that note, we'll be going into the more civilized comments. Can we pull up the first question? Okay, so it's from Heiko. It's quite a long question. So, I am a year 3 international student who's seen MUSA throughout the years. That being said, the manifesto claimed to intend to eliminate any kind of discrimination. I think it's safe to assume that you will want to eliminate any underrepresentation of communities, especially as heads of MUISS. My question is, in the Southeast Asian region, they have been underrepresented for at least 3 years, mainly because our demographic isn't big, but that doesn't mean we don't exist, of course. There are 7 countries in Southeast Asia, excluding Indonesia and Malaysia. What are your exact plans on making sure we are represented in your term? Please quote examples of events. Quite a heavy question, actually.
First of all, that's a really good question, and we did speak about that in our speech that no discrimination will be allowed. First of all, we will address that by interacting to students from different communities, asking them what is their point of view, and secondly, we will come up with strict policies that if someone does discrimination, he has to suffer with the consequences or whatsoever. And then one of the events we are planning towards to solve this problem is Inclusivity Night. And we know that MCN is an event where different cultures come up, and from different countries they come up and express their culture. But Inclusivity Night will be mainly subjective to those students, not mainly I would say, but would help those students who are in minorities to come up and express themselves. We can have an inclusivity night. We can have the talk show where they talk about their cultures, their backgrounds, and the struggles they have to face in their own country. And that would not only help other students understand, but they would also know how and which backgrounds different students are coming from in Monash, and then that would lead to respect towards other communities, and that is what our objective is, and that is what our prime goal is, that everyone is respected here, and there is no discrimination within the communities. So inclusivity night is one of the events we would look up to when the problems such as these occur. Yeah.
All right, so thank you for that answer. We'll be moving on to another civilized comment. Can we pull that one up? As heads of MUISS, you have to represent the whole division. So could you precisely tell us the collective vision, mission, and goals of the overall MUISS 21 team?
Okay. So basically, like I said, our collectively, our main mission and vision and everything is to make sure that there is no boundary when it comes to communities, that everyone is included and all cultures and all communities are together and all the boundaries dissolve once they come to Monash. And also, our goal is to make sure that everyone is very educated about all cultures and communities in Monash, especially minorities.
And also including that, as well as we want to ensure that the team is going in the right direction, because since we will be heading our division, so we will have a team which is working towards the goals and the missions collectively. So we want that they are on the right direction and they're progressing harmoniously, and then we will take responsibility to solve the conflicts within the team. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll be moving on to the next question. Year after year, we often see increasing friction between international students and MUISS. How do you wish to resolve the conflicts and bridge the gap between MUISS and the international community?
That's a very great question, and we even mentioned in our speech that, for example, initiatives such as Tea with MUISS, the main purpose of that initiative is to be more approachable and friendly and open towards the whole international community. And when we say whole international community, it's like all the people who come from all the minorities, as well as the team we are working with and the subcommittee members, everyone. And we want to make sure that everyone is given same opportunities to express themselves, and we want to make sure that everyone is listened and their concerns are being addressed to. Yeah, so the example for this can be Tea with MUISS, which we are looking forward to if we get elected.
All right. So yeah, I just sorry. Can we just go back to that question really quickly? Like, this is how you ask a question about holding someone accountable. Really, like it. Like he's being very diplomatic and he's not trying to go and cast any doubts on anyone. So that's how you ask questions, guys. And honestly, I also think that I just wanted to address this once again, that a lot of you guys should feel comfortable with approaching Jesslyn and Everal, because from my experiences at least, they're quite nice. Also, that's what you're meant to do. You shouldn't be commenting on a YouTube stream where people can see your names. I think that's a bit that's a bit dumb. But anyway, let's just move on to the next question. How would you get back to students if it's anonymous, referring to the feedback form that you guys mentioned earlier?
So it's like you said, the question was that how will we address the students who are anonymous? So basically, the anonymous feedback form are for criticism and like the ways students can tell what better we can do. And once we address those issues, for example, someone is saying that there is the issue of harassment, for example, so we can like make sure that we come up with policies and strict actions, and we can come up with posts on our MUISS page, as well as we can spread awareness within the university that ways you can contact to people or to women's officer, for example, if you are being harassed, or such issues. We can, if they see that we are working towards it, whether the issue is being pointed out anonymously or the names are mentioned, at the end of the day, our goal is that the issue is being solved, and that's what we are looking forward to.
Also, this year with the welfare team, I'm a subcomment at the welfare department. We came up with a platform called on a website called Padlet, where anyone can come and inquire anything anonymously. But we will, and at the same time, we will be able to reach them back in the comments using our official account. So they will be asking and discussing things with us publicly on the wall. Anonymously, but we will be able to reach back to them. So that's how we want to deal with it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that response, guys. Next question from Kangan. As heads of MUIS, if you encounter an issue where your committee members are unable to uphold their responsibilities or as part of any sort of misconduct, how would you deal with this issue?
If, for example, as heads of MUIS, we realize that if there is a member who is not doing their job properly, or who is not like getting up to the benchmark we are setting, and we want to provide students, so what we can do is we can talk to that person, we can understand why and what are the reasons he's not doing, and we would reasonably and subjectively look forward to these problems. And as a committee, all of us will sit down, we'll talk about it, and we will come up to a solution which is best for MUIS, because here the end of the day is for that the welfare of international students and the well-being of international students is not sacrificed. So as a committee, we'll come up with plans, we'll come up with decisions which will help the MUIS as one team to resolve that issue.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the response, guys. So we're moving on to another question from Balsam. So we'll just be extending the Q&A session until 9:10, so that you guys have more time to answer all of the relevant questions, because there are quite a few over here. So I believe both of you have served or is serving as a MUIS subcom. How has the experience shaped and prepared you for the role as heads of MUIS? I'd like to hear from both of you.
Okay, so I was under MUISS welfare and I joined when everything was online. So basically, I've learned a lot from this year because of how everything was last minute, everything was unpredictable, and everything was completely new. So I feel like working under pressure was one of the things that we learned this year, and it has definitely shaped me for the role that I have to take up if I'm getting elected next year. And also, yeah, so
For me personally, I joined MUISS in 2019 as a subcommittee member of MUISS ISO activities, and over there as being a part of activities, we came up with events, several events for example, Chill with MUISS or Holy or One World, and we were easy. We got I personally got an experience to how to manage an event as well as look at the budgets of the event and as well as organizing and planning the event. And then this year I was appointed as Pakistan country representative, and this year was completely online. So that was a challenge in the start, but the like me and my other country representative, we overcome that challenge by conducting or coming up with events which were online and which were interacting and posting those events on the MOES story, so the students who don't engage can come for the next event.
to add on to that, even this year, being closely involved with MUIS and collaborating with different departments really gave according to me, even though there were positions like office bearers and subcoms, I felt like in this year it was more of a flat structure where all of us were involved evenly. And yeah, so that really let me know how MUIS actually works and how MUIS actually runs.
Okay, all right. Next question from Layan. Hello, Ali and Nida. How do you plan on tackling issues related to other MUIS officers not doing their jobs right?
We've already addressed this answer, but address this
All right, all right.
question.
I guess you guys can just breeze through this one really, really quickly then, just to go and refresh your memory.
For this one, as we addressed that we can for taking the for taking for making sure that everyone is on track, we came up with the app. I mean, like we will use an online application which is called monday.com or Notion. And for that, which will help every committee member to write what they are doing at a particular point, all their events and the progress so far. And by that, all of us can keep check on each other and work and help each other as committee to progress towards their event, and also help them to we can motivate them that yes, you can do it. And also we want to make sure that everyone is contributing equally for the betterment of MUIS and the international students.
Okay, so it seems like a lot of these questions are sort of repeating because I'm assuming that they were asked a little bit earlier on. So I'll just jump a little bit ahead to a Heiko's question here. You're pretty much the only candidate available right now, uncontested. How can we be assured that you'll do your job as you guys said and not just in it for the glam?
For that, I think that the reason why we are only available candidate is because of the determination we have towards MOES and the commitment we want to show towards MOES. And there are what we want is basically for a better MOES, and we want to continue the legacy of our predecessors. And also the points we pointed out in our speech about transparency, approachability, discrimination, and publicity, we actually want that to happen. And because these were the issues mostly students face, so it is important to address them. And we believe that we are the best candidates for this position. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Very, very interesting input. So I'll just jump to the next question now. how would you ensure? Okay, wait. Communication has already been done. So I'm just gonna go to this question from Heiko. Remember earlier on he was talking about events to go and include everyone, right? So right now he's asking he's asking if it's just an event for everyone, and not an event focusing on Southeast Asia alone because they feel like they're underrepresented, of course.
So in that event I mentioned was basically that, for example, the minorities in the MUISS, in the international communities, that event will help them to bring up their experiences and their cultural backgrounds. And yes, we in MCN we will include Southeast Asian countries. For example, like you said that there are 5 other countries apart from Malaysia and Indonesia which are being disregarded. So yes, we will make sure that those countries are also involved in the MCN and also these inclusivity nights.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Next question from Maha. Isn't Inclusivity Night one of the women's officers event from MUSA? How do you plan to differentiate your event from theirs?
I believe that Inclusivity Night for Women, MUSA Women's event, will have a different objective. Maybe talk about the discrimination and the harassments and the problems such as bullying and all of that faced by students. But ours would be specifically focusing on how to engage each other and how to engage the different students from different backgrounds, and so students can come up and tell their stories and what they have experienced in their lives and how their countries are and what are their cultures. So this is our main motive for the Inclusivity Night.
Okay, that is a very good motto, actually. So we'll just move on to the next question here. Let's just try and breeze through this because we have 5 minutes left. I believe that the underrepresentation of Southeast Asia does not really relate to discrimination. It's just that those events are not given the importance that other cultural events get. Are you planning to include more new events for the community that will make them feel more welcomed?
Okay, so first of all, I feel like this problem persisted in the first place because there weren't enough students from these minority countries coming up. So for that, first of all, we will want to make sure that they have these, like how we have Iran night and Indian night. We would like to make sure that these Southeast Asian countries have their own nights, so that even if it's a small community, they can get together and get to know each other, and that each of them exist in this university because it's very hard to find each other. And also we would be making sure that they will be participating in MCN actively, and we will be giving them we have like the fashion walk show, the catwalk and everything, and we make sure that they're represented equally as every other nation during MCN.
All right, thank you. So we're just going to move on to our last question because we only really have time for this, and I think that this one is quite a heavy one. There have been some unfavorable comments or rumors we've heard about you guys being quite unaccepting of the communities, example, the LGBTQ community. What do you have to say about that?
I would like to state that these are solely just accusations because I do not have anything to say to this because it's just accusations. There's no proof.
And apart from being accusations that, these being accusations, it is also important to understand that the rumors are not actually experienced by like the person asking the question. And I would actually want to know that what are the things going around and the unfavorable comments which have been passed on to that person, and we would actually want to listen to them and actually want to solve these problems if these are some kind of rumors going around about any of our committee members or us as well.
Yeah, please just talk to us.
Yeah.
We can communicate.
Okay, all right. Thanks for keeping open, guys. So let's just go on. Okay, I mean we have 2 minutes left. I honestly thought that would take a lot more time. As heads of MUISS, you have to cater to all nationalities. How do you plan on keeping personal bias aside to help all students, such as personal bias for your country?
Okay. So this will definitely not be an issue because we all have dealt with such diverse friend groups, and we're working in such a diverse community, and we come from. I personally come from Qatar, but like I was born in India, so we have experience in dealing with people from such different backgrounds that bias is just not there in our dictionary. So yeah.
And also adding on to that, planning on keeping the personal biasness is basically that when we go into office, we will make sure that biasness and discrimination is not part of any of the members or us. And also, what we can do is that for example, that like countries, for example, where we belong from, we will make sure that professionalism is being kept our first priority rather than catering to the country needs, because for that CROs are always there and country representatives are always there. So we feel like professionalism is the key for our position and is one of our main principles which we will work on. And then our guiding principles will be say no to discrimination and including everyone and learning together, going ahead together, and being successful as one international community in Monash. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So on that note, I think we'll just wrap up this session with a very quick closing statement. Go ahead, guys. Just wrap it all up.
Okay, so I would like to close by saying we have great opportunities and great challenges ahead. And next year, with your help, we will be able to meet them with our initiatives to increase networking opportunities and make it the best year yet. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you so
And
much for asking
we
questions.
have also planned some amazing events for all of you, as you have heard throughout our speech and this question answer session. And we would like you all to know that if you elect us as MUISS heads, it would be an honor to serve you all. And we will make sure that the student welfare and the well-being is our first priority. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, guys. So once again, I'd just like to extend my thanks to everyone who made it here. Ali and Nida, of course, and as well as Jesslyn and Avril. And just a closing statement to all the weird comments. Grow up, guys. So have a good night, everyone, and see you
Good
guys
night.
for tomorrow's debates. Peace.